All right, this is a review from lesson chapter 8, lesson 5. So we're going to review real quick. So one of the key words, guys, that we talked about was actually called lateral surface. Remember the lateral surface, this deals with a 3D shape, 3-dimensional, okay? And with the 3-dimensional shape, remember you have the bottom part, which is the base, and it's denoted by the letter what? B. B is the same thing as what? Base, but thank you. The length times the width. All right. And remember, if we get one random point, we could create a pyramid. All right. And then, in order for us to find the volume of a pyramid,
it's base times height divided by 3.
Base times the height divided by 3. Remember, in the reference sheet, what you guys going to see is 1/3 BH. But remember, the 3, you could write it as the denominator. All right? So it'll be 1/3 BH, or B times H over 3. And of course, this has to be given the height of the pyramid. All right? So this is very important to find out. And these parts right here, the walls of the pyramid, are called the lateral surface. All right? Again, the walls of the pyramid are called lateral surface. It's important to understand the vocabulary words that are being used, because once you guys go forward, we're going to refer back to those vocabulary words, okay? The next part that we're going to go ahead and cover today is actually the lesson 8.6. 8.6, it adds on to what we're learning, but it goes on just a little bit more. All right, and what it adds on is actually the next part, which deals with surface area of prisms. What we want to focus on here is the word area. All right, again, what we want to focus on here is the word area. Now, when you think about area, let's think about the formula of area. Area is the same thing as what? That's it, correct? So when you think about surface area, one of the things that I always mention to my students, think about Christmas. Why? When you wrap presents, okay, you wrap the presents and you cover the whole box, right? So when you cover the whole box, that's what surface area is called. So let's think about a 3D shape, okay? All right, not that great. Let's think about the 3D shape, all right? And let's go ahead and put some different sides, the shape right here. Let's call this 12 inches, and let's say this is 6 inches, and this is 10 inches. All right. Now, the next thing is this. What I like to do is I like to actually break it down as much as possible. All right. So, for instance, if I look at this shape here, the question you want to ask yourself is this: how many sides does the shape have?
Like 6. Yeah, 6.
6. So look what I'm going to do here in the bottom. I'll go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's how we find the surface area. Depending on how many sides the figure has. Some figures might have 5 sides. All right. Some figures might have 5 or 6, guys. unless you have a sphere which have no sides. But in other words, this has 6 sides. So what we want to do is think about this for a second. Let's think about the front side here of this prism.
Yeah.
What are the dimensions of the front side of this prism? 6 times 12, right?
Yeah.
So what I'll do is 6 times 12, but we know it has 2 sides, right?
Yeah.
The front part and the back part, correct?
So just do it twice.
So it'll be 6 times 12. Now we want to look at the sides going in this direction over here. What are the dimensions of this side over here?
6 times 10.
6 times 10. So we have 6 times 10, 6 times 10. Because it has this side and it has that side, right? So now let's think about the top and the bottom. Yes, sir.
Can you just find the surface area of like each side and do whatever the number is times 2?
Yes, you can. Well, what I'm doing here is, that's a good observation. All right? What you're doing is, in this case right here with the prism, all you have to do is find one side and multiply it by 2. Or, like I said, you can really break it down so you guys can see where that 2 is coming from. Because a lot of times they give you the formula, right? But you don't understand where the 2 is coming from. Now you're able to observe where the 2 is coming from. So the last part is looking at the top of the prism and the bottom, which is 12 times what?
12 times 10.
That's how you find the surface area of the prism. So what's 6 times 12?
72.
So we have 72 plus 72 plus 6 times 10.
60.
60 plus 60 plus 12 times 10. 120 plus 120 equals 504.
You can
Yeah.
simplify more. Like you can break it down.
Oh, squared.
Square inches will be my final answer. Now, yes, you can do 6 times 12 times 2 for this 2 right here. 6 times 10 times 2 for that right there. Or 12 times 10 times 2 for that right there. Guys, the final result is still going to be the same. For me, guys, it doesn't matter how you get it, as long as the logic is there and the conceptual understanding is there as well. I repeat, as long as the conceptual understanding is there, we're good to go.
Okay.
If you want to break it down piece by piece, I don't mind, because if you're able to see it clearly, that's fine by me. All right, let's take a look at another particular question. All right, so I want you guys to try this one on your own, and we'll do this one right here. All right, we have 13 inches, we have 7 inches, and we have 9 inches. I want you guys to find the surface area of the prism. Okay?
Did you mean to do this? Because you did not put it up with me, or did you not mean that?
Yeah, it's multiplication.
I know, but you didn't do it for the rest of the six.
It doesn't matter, you can still do it. Once you're done, please put your pencils down so we can go ahead and double check our work, all right? Raise your hand if you need more time. Okay. If you're done with that one, okay, I have another figure for you so you guys can get started, and then we'll review both figures, okay? It's actually going to be this one here.
Are these the friendship bands?
All right, let's go ahead and check the first question. On the first question, again, what I like to do is this. The first question I always ask myself is, how many sides does the figure have? 6. So what I'll do here, guys, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The next thing I need to do is, because it says surface area, I need to find the area of each side. I repeat, I need to find the area of each side. So if I want to find this area here, the front part of the prism, what two numbers do I need to multiply?
13.
So I'll do it twice because it has two sides. If I want to find the side of the prism here,
7 times 13.
There's 2 of them, so I need 7 times 13. And now if I want to find the top and the bottom of the prism, what do I multiply? 9 times 7. So what's 9 times 13?
117.
117. What is 7 times 13? 91? And what is 9 times 7? Order does not matter here at all because we're adding all the numbers combined. So once we combine all of these numbers, we should get 542 what? Square inches. That's my final answer. That's my final answer. But as long as you know your error and you're able to correct those errors, we should be good to go. So let's try to correct those errors going forward. All right? Any questions about this problem here? And practice makes perfect. That's it. Let's take a look at the other question here. The other question, again, guys, it looks different, but the idea is still the same. So now the first question you always want to ask yourself is what?
How many sides?
How many sides does this one have?
5.
You see the difference there? It has the 1 here, the 2 here, the bottom 3, the front 4, and the back 5. This has 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and put it back here, 5. We have 5 sides. So let's first focus on the sides that look like rectangles, right? Well, if we take a look at this side here, guys, 14 times 3.6, correct? So I'll write it here, 14 times 3.6. Well, let's take a look at this side here. It's still going to be 14, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the side here is what?
3.6.
So we do another one. 14 times 3.6. Now, the bottom part is a little bit different, though.
It's 14 times 4, right?
There you go. The bottom part is 14 times 4. Now, we have to look at these shapes over here. What is that right there?
Oh, it froze.
This part right here.
It's a triangle.
It's a triangle. Now, the equation or the formula that we use for a triangle is different.
It's length times width.
Very good. So this one has to be length times width divided by 2. And this one has to be the same thing. Correct?
But the thing is, since it's 2 of them, you necessarily don't have to divide it by 2. You can just
You know, you're absolutely right. Like I said, I'm trying to break everything down as much as possible. But yes, you're absolutely right. So let's just go ahead and do it. What's 4 times 3?
12.
Divided by 2?
6. So 6 plus 6.
6 plus 6. And that's it.
I got 168.8 inches squared.
What'd you get?
168.8 square inches squared.
Do you guys agree? What's 14 times 3.6?
50 and 4 times.
50.4
Plus 15.4.
14 times 4.
56.
This is what? 100.8. 168.8 square inches. And that's my final answer.
What's the one under the 40?